Hello and welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me again for another night of Facebook Live. I also like to take time out to recognize those that catch the replay from YouTube and or SoundCloud. I am your host, Anntricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. It is indeed a blessing to be here with you tonight. As tonight we're going to talk again from our mini series on Untapped, dealing with those untapped issues or untapped areas in our life that could be very painful to deal with and address because of the shame and the embarrassment and the trauma that is associated with it. So tonight, our subtopic is hurt, hijacked, and held hostage. Hurt, hijacked, and held hostage. And guys, this is associated with the thoughts that we have from not dealing with issues that we tend to suppress or to keep covered. So I'm going to give you guys a second or two just to log on with me. And as you're here, feel free to give me a shout out and let me know that you're with me tonight. I see Keisha has joined on with me tonight, and I appreciate you being here. Of course, your presence is always appreciated, and I'm almost getting to where I feel like getting a little spoiled to you, to where I'm just expecting you to show up. So, but nonetheless, it is a blessing to have you with me every night. It just gives me the encouragement and it gives me the strength I need to bring such difficult and challenging topics from night to night, Keisha. So I do appreciate you engaging with me and being here night after night. Also, guys, in the links, as before we get started, you'll see my YouTube channel. You will see a link to my YouTube channel. Please, if you have not already subscribed to that YouTube channel, go ahead and do that. Because we're here at 10 o'clock at night, most of you guys are catching the replays and you're trying to find it on my timeline. And sometimes with the algorithms being as they are, you don't always come across our videos until a day or two later. So if you would like to make sure that you get these videos, please make sure you just subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then you can listen to it at a time that is convenient for you. Because I know all the time, 10 o'clock at night, some of us are tired and ready for bed, and we do miss it. So you don't have to miss any of these episodes. They're streaming to YouTube, and also for those that like audio. That's what SoundCloud is. SoundCloud is a audio platform, and so you can go and listen to the audio if you don't want to watch the video. I see Erica and Diane has made it here with me tonight as well. I appreciate you ladies being here. I hope that the series so far has been beneficial to you. I hope that it is clear. I hope the information that I'm bringing is clear. And I have been trying to keep the limit of time associated to these videos under 30 minutes, right at 30 minutes or less. So I'm hoping that I'm not holding you guys too long, as my schedule has also changed, as I know many of us who are educators are going back into the school system after being off for quite a while. And so it's taken some time and adjustments to get used to. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and get started tonight. Go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit those heart buttons and just show me some love. Let me know that you're here, and we'll get ready to get started. All right. Tonight we're talking about the thoughts associated with the things that we keep hitting. Thoughts that are associated with the things that we keep hitting. This is the areas of our life to where they're hard for us to look at them. And that was last night's topic. We took the look back. We talked from the point of view of the look back, what it feels like to look back at our past, to look back at those traumatic places, to look back at those events that bring us so much shame and embarrassment, to where we just don't want to deal with it. We feel like if we could just suppress it, if we just act like it wasn't there, if we can just act like it doesn't bother us, then we don't even have to look at this thing anymore. So I encourage you guys over the last 24 hours to really take a look at what those issues are. And so if you have really been doing the work, if this mini series is speaking to you, so to speak, and you are actually doing the work, tonight you should have sat in those feelings and sat in those emotions. And what you have found is that the hurt has resurfaced, your thoughts, your mind has been hijacked, and also your thoughts have been held hostage throughout the years. Because remember, when we tend to hide things, when we want to keep the skeletons in our closet, in the closet, and bury it as deep as we can keep them buried, we can't think, we can't focus, because somebody knows our secret. Somebody knows what we've been through. Somebody knows the shame that is associated with our past. And so we're all the time thinking, is somebody getting ready to expose us? Or what happens if my past shows up and exposes me? And so we find that those areas in our life that we don't address, we do not want to acknowledge, we don't care to acknowledge them because we have not dealt with it. These are the thoughts and the emotions that are attached. Hurt, hijacked. And what do I mean by hijacked? That means that we're being robbed of our thoughts. We're being robbed of, that means we're being seized and taken by force. So our thoughts control what we do. In return, behaviors show up. It always goes back to our behaviors, our actions. So this is when you see those people who have the nasty attitudes, the nasty behaviors, those that when you're around them and you have to walk on eggshells, or be careful what you say, because at the blink of an eye or any minute they'll go off on you. And so you have to really tread lightly. This is why people act like that. They have issues and areas in their lives that have not been addressed. They have skeletons in the closet that they continue to want to suppress. Hey, Pastor Pitts, how are you tonight? They have issues that are unaddressed. And so we, at the moment to where they feel like they're going to be exposed, so to speak, this is what triggers. Anytime they feel as though they are a target, rather than experiencing that hurt or taking the risk of being exposed or being treated or rejected or manipulated, then this is why you see the behaviors. It's because their thoughts are hijacked. Their thoughts are associated so much to that trauma, to that place that that hasn't been dealt with, that they can't control their behaviors. And many of them have said, well, that's just who I am. That's just how I am. And you don't want to mess with me. You don't know who I am, and this and that. Well, in reality, what they really are doing is showing us exactly who they are. They're showing us their issues. They're showing us that there are areas in their life that they're not willing to deal with. And held hostage. And we know what a hostage situation is. Many of us, we watch those criminal movies where You have the criminal that's holding that person, and they hold them under their power to keep them from doing something, so that they can use them as a barrier between them and safety. And this is what untapped issues do for us. Yes, everything is well. Everything is well. This is what not dealing with issues do for us. They hold us hostage. They hold us and bound us to our past. They hold us and bound us to that trauma. They hold and bound us to those series of events so that we can't reach our full potential. And there's so many of us, we live a lifetime never really tapping into our full potential because the things that we want to keep hidden are too shameful to look at. And only we know what that looks like. Only we know what it looks like. Why is it even so hard for us to look at? Why is it even so hard for us to acknowledge that this was our life? Or this happened to us? Why is it so shameful? Why is it so painful? Why does it control what we do, even after so many years? I look back at as early as 4 and 5 experiencing trauma. At the age of 4 and 5, I'm looking back at those years. If I had not begun to pull those things from my subconscious mind and begin to deal with them, then those things would have continued to control what I do today. I could not sit here today. I could not be so open today. I could not be vulnerable. I could not be so expressive in the way that I do if I continue to keep those things hidden in the closet. So there's no different than any other trauma that we deal with, whether it is, maybe it's just that we don't really like our body. And I know some of us, we really have issues with our body, or maybe it's our hair, or maybe our skin is not quite clear. And so we cover up and we want to make like, everything is okay. And so we go out and we put this big old smile on, not really knowing that we still hiding behind our issues. We really don't want for people to know that we really feel this way. And some of us have deeper issues like incest. Or maybe we were a worldly girl and we laid with too many intimate partners, and maybe it's that we struggled so with stability in relationships. Maybe we're abusive, or maybe we've been abused. Maybe we manipulated people. Maybe we conned people. Maybe we steal or we stole. So many different things that could be our issues. When is it going to be okay for us to just admit that either this is who we are, or who we were, or this is what happened to us, or this is my past. I don't do those things anymore, but yes, this is what I did. Because one thing that I find is that you can only be hurt, hijacked, or held hostage by your past if you let it. It's one thing I want you to know tonight is that whatever it is that you've done in life, whatever it is that you have experienced that was embarrassing or shameful or sinful, you're in control. It's only your thoughts and your thoughts alone that keeps you from tapping into those issues and dealing with it and getting to the point that you can finally say, so what? And who cares? And I don't mean saying that disrespectfully or in a way that is negative. I mean just saying it in a manner that you are more important than the things that have happened to you, than the things that you have done, than the things that you have experienced. Your peace is more important. And if anybody would be so cruel to take what you've been through and rub it in your face, then shame on them. Because all that says is that they themselves have issues that are untapped that they have neglected to deal with. Because only hurting people hurt people. And you know what? I find freedom in sitting and telling my story. Because no one can tell it like I can tell it. No one can tell it as truthful as I can tell it. No one can tell it as detailed as I can tell it. And guess what? When I tell it, it releases the pain and power from it just being told and expressed. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking, that's too shameful, or it's nobody's business. I'm not going to tell my business. And that's not at all what I'm saying. What has our issues untapped is that we won't even acknowledge it with ourselves. And that's the first step. But I can guarantee you, when you go to that closet and you begin to pull out those pieces, those bones or whatever it is, one by one, and begin to look at it. And when you get rid of one skeleton and you get to feel the weight come off and the freedom you have and just being okay with it, then you're not going to be hurt, hijacked, and held hostage by your thoughts. As a result of it, it's going to free you. It's going to begin to give you that release. You're not going to always have to go through the rest of your life looking in the rearview mirror, wondering who's trying to expose you. Because at that point, you're already, in a sense, exposing yourself. You ever wonder how many people smile when they go out in public? And they put that smile and you just love them. You love them when they see you. It seems like they just light up your world. But then you take that time to look in their eyes and their eyes are empty. That's where you really see the soul of the man. It's through their eyes. And there are many people we meet every day that are smiling. You see their beautiful smile and it just causes your whole day to just be better. But they're empty inside. They're hurting. They're hijacked and they're held hostage by their own thoughts. You know, many of those people that are brightening up your day and giving you laughs, they can't even do that for themselves. And you know that from when you have a conversation with them. You know that from when you really look and really be concerned about. They're not really living their best life. They're not really getting to their highest potential. They're hurting. They're trapped. And you know, some of the ones that I find that does this the most are people that are in abusive relationships, people that are abused. They don't want other people to see that abuse. They do not want other people to really know that they're in a situation that they feel powerless. They're ashamed. They're embarrassed. They don't know what to do. They're hopeless a lot of times, helpless a lot of times. And I just think back at, in the generation before me, when abuse was accepted. And this is where a lot of times we learn our behaviors is, you know, grandmama and them, they stayed in relationships that were dysfunctional and abusive. And it wasn't something that was talked about. And many of the men then were dysfunctional. They were alcoholics. They were addicts. They were predators. They were pedophiles. And nobody talked about it. So then the little girl grows up with daddy penetrating her, and it's okay. Until she grows up and realizes how shameful it is and how that wasn't right. I think back at Joyce Meyer. She's one of the well-known ministers that speak on television and all. She's well known all over the world. And she tells that story. And many people are drawn to her because of that story. And she shares her path of how she has overcome and the relationship with her dad and things like that. And guys, if the only way that I can come to resolve or come to terms with my own issue is to hear it through the story of somebody else, then by golly, I'm going to listen until I can come to terms and get the strength to stand on my own 2 feet. The only way what we keep hitting has power is because it's hidden. As long as it stays hidden, it's going to have that power over us. It's going to keep us hijacked. It's going to keep us held hostage. There's just no other way. It has the most power when it's hidden. You'd be surprised at the freedom and the strength you get by acknowledging your story. And out of all the people in the world, there's no one story exactly like yours, but I can guarantee you there's nothing in your story that somebody out here cannot relate to. Now, your story may not run as deep as mine. Your closet may not have as many skeletons in it as mine has or as mine had. And then I still got a whole lot more to dig through. As much work as I've done, I have not done it all. I still have work to do. I still have gains that I need to be making in my life. I still have to come to terms and look at some of the things that I don't at this time have the strength to really tap into. But I'm working toward it every day. I'm working toward it every day. So for the next 24 hours, here's what I want you to do for those that are doing the work. I know some of you guys, you're not doing the work. You don't want to do the work, no interest in doing the work, and that's okay. In the next 24 hours, I want you to consider one person that you feel like you can trust. Just one. That you feel like you can trust with your life. That you feel like you can trust with the deepest, most intimate parts of your life, that you will not be judged in return if you just share. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and share anything just yet. I'm just asking you to think about that one person. It may be somebody you know and that you have known for years. It may be a counselor or a therapist that you've seen. But just think about that one. Just think about that one person in the next 24 hours. That's what I want you to find. Some people, you can think of it right off. Some of you, it's going to take you a little while longer. Who can you trust? Who can you share your deepest, intimate secrets with without feeling judged in return? Think about that one person. And that's what I want you to do over the next 24 hours. We're going to come back tomorrow and we're going to try to pick this thing apart, okay? So, your thoughts that are associated with issues should be at this point feelings of hurt, hijacked, and held hostage by our own thoughts. This is things we're doing to ourselves, not that anyone else has done to us. This is what we do to ourselves when we do not deal with the issues that we're confronted with. And we try to keep things covered. So we've looked back at it already. And in looking back, this is what we find. We hurt ourselves, our negative self-talk. We're hijacked by our own thoughts. We're held hostage because of the fear of somebody else exposing us. I appreciate you guys being here with me tonight. I'll be right back here tomorrow night at 10 p.m. I am your host, Anntricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. Good night, everybody.